January is on steroids. The week started with major suspensions, sackings, investigations, and court cases. Midweek, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, sacked the board and management of Union Bank, Keystone Bank, and Polaris banks, and same they appointed new management. Now, compliance issues were the reason given by the apex regulator for their action and assured depositors of the safety of their funds. The refineries are gradually showing signs of life, but the macroeconomic indices still do not show a sort of breather. Well, we shall be reflecting on how they are affecting the performance of the economy, particularly jobs, as well as the needed policy steps to address them. Also in our lineup is our complementary segment, Simplify This. We also have our market update for you. My name is Leah Katung Babatunde, and this is The Policy. Before we delve into the business of the day, let's catch up with major news trends.
The global economy is set to rack up a sorry record by the end of 2024, the slowest half-decade of GDP growth in 30 years. This is according to the World Bank's latest Global Economic Prospects report. By one measure, the global economy is in a better place than it was a year ago. The risk of a global recession has receded, largely because of the strength of the US economy. But the report noted that mounting geopolitical tensions could create fresh near-term hazard for the world economy. Meanwhile, the medium-term outlook has darkened for many developing economies amid slowing growth in most major economies, sluggish global trade, and the tightest financial conditions in decades. Global trade growth in 2024 is expected to be only half the average in the decade before the pandemic. Borrowing costs for developing economies, especially those with poor credit ratings, are likely to remain steep, with global interest rates stuck at 4-decade highs in inflation-adjusted terms. Developing economies are projected to grow just 3.9%, more than 1 percentage point below the average of the previous decade. After a disappointing performance last year, low-income countries should grow 5.5%, weaker than previously expected. By the end of 2024, people in about 1 out of every 4 developing countries and about 40% of low-income countries will still be poorer than they were on the eve of the COVID pandemic in 2019. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, says it has recently disbursed approximately $61.64 million to foreign airlines through various banks in fulfillment of its commitment to eliminate the backlog of pending matured foreign exchange in deposit money banks, DMBS. The initiative, the CBN says, is part of efforts to decrease its remaining liability to the airlines. Acting Director of Corporate Communications Department at the Apex Bank, Mrs. Hakama Sidi Ali, who made this known, further disclosed that in the past 3 months, the CBN redeemed outstanding forward liabilities amounting to almost $2 billion. This, she added, underscores the bank's commitment to the resolution of pending obligations and a functional foreign exchange market. The International Air Transport Association had reported in December 2023 that Nigeria holds the highest trapped funds belonging to the airlines at $792 million. Foreign airlines have been selling tickets to Nigerians in dollars to repatriate their funds in hard currency, while some, like Emirates, have ceased flying the Nigerian route. The Debt Management Office DMO offered for subscription 2 Federal Government of Nigeria savings bonds in its inaugural offer for 2024. The bonds listed early this week include savings bond with a 2-year maturity date of January 17, 2026 at 11.033% annual yield, and a 3-year savings bond with an interest rate of 12.033% annually, which is scheduled to mature on January 17, 2027. Both offers close today. Settlement takes place on January 17th, and the coupon payout dates are April 17th, July 17th, October 17th and January 17th. The Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC) has made known its intention to bar Globacom customers from making calls to MTN lines soon over alleged non-settlement of interconnect charges. The NCC, in a public notice signed by its Director, Public Affairs Department Ruben Moka, stated that it granted partial approval for the disconnection of Globacom from MTN Nigerian Communication PLC in accordance with the Section 100 of the Nigerian Communications Act 2003 and paragraph 9 of the Guidelines on Procedure for Granting Approval to Disconnect Telecommunications Operator 2012. The NCC revealed that at the expiration of 10 days from the date of this notice, subscribers of Globacom will no longer be able to make calls to MTN but will be able to receive calls. This is not the first time Glo subscribers will be disconnected from making calls to MTN over the same issue, as records show same scenario played out in 2018 and 2019. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission (NERC) has dissolved the board of directors for Kaduna Electricity Distribution Company (KAEDC) over its inability to clear outstanding 110 billion naira owed to the Nigerian electricity supply industry (NESI). NERC, in an order signed by its chairman and vice chairman Sabusi Garba and Musiliu Oseni, said it was due to the receivership of the company not being able to get a new buyer of the company on time. The order stated that the company was owing 110 billion naira to the Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trade (NBET) and TCN's market operator (MO) from 2015 October 1st, 2023. KAEDC, the order observed, is experiencing severe liquidity challenges and its commercial viability and continuation as a market participant is in doubt. NERC in the notice announced the appointment of Dr. Umar Abubakar Hashidu as the new administrator of KAEDC until sale to the new investors is finalized. The Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority (NSIA) and All On, a Nigerian impact investor focused on renewable energy, have synergized to bring light and opportunity to energy-deprived communities across the country. Both parties said they will achieve this by deploying distributed renewable energy (DRE), a transformative approach that utilizes small-scale solutions like solar mini-grids and home systems to reach areas abandoned by the traditional grid infrastructure. Caroline Ebombu, MD All On, noted that DRE offers agility and efficiency, capable of illuminating remote villages and towns overlooked for far too long. On his part, Aminu Umar Sadiq, NSIA's ND CEO, called for continued investment for development partners along with the provision of both capital and technical assistance. He also challenged the private sector to innovate and develop scalable, affordable DRE solutions. DRE is central to NSI's renewable investment platform for limitless energy, which wants to achieve expanded energy access to the unserved and underserved segments of the population.
The National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) August 2023 released the revised Nigeria Labour Force Survey, which put the country's unemployment rate at 4.1% in the first quarter of 2023. Of course, it caused a lot of debate, and that debate is still on. We're yet to see another quarterly publication since then. Improving non-oil revenue has been a concern for government as an integral part of its lifeline. So join the conversation, and don't forget you can also follow it on YouTube. Professor Jonathan Aremu is a man of many caps. He used to be a researcher with the Central Bank of Nigeria and is still a researcher. He is also a former Vice Chancellor of the Covenant University, and of course he is a consultant with a great number of foremost institutions, and today he will be discussing with us and throwing a light on Nigeria's quest for development and revenue drive. You're welcome, Professor Aremu, to this very wonderful discussion session.
Thank you, Madam Leah.
How are we doing?
I'm doing well.
Okay,
Thank you.
great, great. Firstly, we heard from the National Bureau of Statistics that our number of the jobless have reduced to just about 4%. And then we also hear from the same bureau that we have more of these people in the informal sector, so they are actually not captured. Can you have us have a sense of understanding what is going on?
Thank you, madam, and thank you, viewers, from whatever place you are listening to me. I think first and foremost, the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, they have the mandate to give us statistics. And I don't doubt their figures because you can't get statistics elsewhere except from them. And then they are usually mindful the statistics they send outside. You say that yes, they think that all their report shows that unemployment is reducing, which is a good development. But again, you discover that people are getting poorer. That means there is a disconnect in that kind of analysis. Not that they are wrong, because they equally said that, possibly quoting that statistics, that people are engaged in a lot of assignments they wouldn't have engaged in. Economy has explanation for that. That means there is underemployment. Another word for that is disguised unemployment. People are working, but they are not using their potential. They are not getting the expected reward from using their potential to be working adequately. So there is disguised unemployment or disguised employment. That is, they appear to be working, but there's what we saw an excess capacity in what they are doing. The capacity they have is more than the work they are doing. And obviously, they can't get a good reward for what they are doing. So, and that explanation to me is clear. Why? Over the year, people graduate in university. You have some people as good as even having PhD. But go and check the work they are doing. It's not what they would have liked to do. So therefore, they are getting something, but that is not what they would have liked to do. So people are just getting to do something to make sure that they survive, which means that there is employment, according to their report, but the employment is more or less disguised under excess capacity. That is, the capacity they have is more than what they are doing. So that is the explanation.
Okay, so Prof, if I may come in here from your academic point of view, does it have to do with courses people study in the higher institutions?
It's not causes, it's not relevant to cause, it's because the opportunity to be engaged is not there. Let me say one thing. You can read economics, and the work you are doing is not what an economist should be doing. You can be an economist, but you can be a book manager somewhere in a factory. But you have said, oh, economists should be working in commercial bank or central bank or all those kind of things. But an economist can work in other areas. It's the application of the knowledge you got in the university that matters. So it's not because of the academics. It's just because the declining opportunity to be well engaged is what we are seeing in the country. And why? The private sector that should engage people is indirectly shrinking in terms of output. And because the private sector, which most of the time is occupied by big corporations, many of them are not actually working as expected. So people now go into sort of informal economic activities to get engaged.
It will seem like measures put in place in the past by policymakers did not really yield the desired result. Is that so?
Yes, the cost is very extensive. The cost of policy mismanagement is very extensive. Let me first of all take where Nigeria has cooperative advantage, and I've tried to explain this over and over again. Agriculture. God gave us very good agricultural land. All what we need to do in promoting agriculture is to make sure we pay attention to the areas of developing agricultural value chain. How? look at the input into agriculture, look at the production in agriculture, look at the processing in agricultural product, and look at the marketing side of agriculture. When you look at the input, you provide the essential input necessary. When you look at the production, you will allow the input to go into production for enhanced productivity of agricultural products. When you match this processing, that means you are not going just to be producing primary product and selling it abroad or selling it to ECOWAS or to African market, but you are processing, you are adding value before you sell it. And when you add value to a commodity like agriculture, it commands higher price. Then when you now match it with marketing opportunity, that's the trading opportunity Nigeria has. Obviously, you have completed the value chain. So government need to invest in agriculture by looking into the input essential, by production that will use those input, by the processing of those output that has come in for production, and by marketing all those.
Would you say it is important that for those who are going to drive government policies to be given timelines for every single target they get?
Well, Madam, thank you. We have been setting targets over the years with our development plans, and we have been failing in some of these targets. Number one, I'm somebody that believes that when you are setting targets, you must be ready to be committed to the target. The policy environment must be right. You must make sure that institutions that will manage the target know what they will do. And there must be effective and efficient monitoring and evaluation position so as to make sure that the target is fulfilled. Unless the institution to do the thing are there, unless you ensure that you put in the infrastructure that will allow them to be there, unless the environment is okay, and then unless that those people that are going to be doing this thing, they ensure that they monitor themselves, and then there is enough monitoring mechanisms to be able to check and make sure that the timelines that are given are being followed. Else, shall be telling lie. Over the year, that's what is happening.
So in your opinion, what will be the task ahead of our policy makers regarding achieving these desired development and growth that you've talked about?
We are yearning for growth, and we should be yearning for development because there's a difference between growth and development. A growing economy can be an economy that is having higher level of GDP but will be becoming poor. So what should we do to be able to get the growth going and the economic development from the way I said? It to be able to ensure that the policy that are put in place, they are appropriate policies. Secondly, make sure that every person that is doing one type of job or the other is best fitted for the job. When you post somebody that's just learning on the job, it's going to be trial and error before you be able to understand. And those are some of the mistakes. Terrible mistakes. But when you put somebody who knows something to be in charge of it, obviously from day one, you'll be seeing output. But when you put somebody who don't know, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, he may be learning on the job. And it's somebody that's globe-trotting, traveling around the world. Before you know it, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, no impact. And then money is going. The budgets all over the year is moving and nothing is happening. Can Nigeria actually look for putting appropriate people in places, not minding where they come from? Allocation of activity based on where you come from will continue to make Nigeria a laughing stock. Somebody can do the thing, give it to the person. In my private company now, I don't care where you come from. It is output that I wanted. Come from anywhere, once you can add value to it, you are welcome. But to say, did someone come from where? That is not nationalistic. We are all Nigeria after all. So I think that government need to look at that critically.
Most sincerely, thank you, Professor, for giving me this opportunity to have a nice one.
The policy with Leah quite certainly is a show to turn to when it comes to policymakers' desire to monitor and respond to challenges within the capital markets ecosystem and the economy in general. I am Sterling Ellis, a duly qualified capital markets professional in Nigeria, in the United Kingdom, and in the United States of America. Enjoy the policy with Leah.
My name is Aldumi Ikori.
Keep watching the policy with Leah.
It aims to provide policymakers an opportunity to explain their policies in a way that members of the public affected by those policies can understand and engage with those policies.
Keep watching the policy with Leah.
Do you know the opposite of investments? Well, let's find that out on Simplify This, and from there we go shopping. Well, for more on rates from markets across the country, do well to log on to our sister website www.marketnigeriatv.com. And also you can catch up with us on YouTube on our channel. It is Saban Media Services. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment for us there because we value your feedback. Join us again same time next week, same channel for the same program. My name is Leah Katung Babatunde saying have a beautiful weekend and God bless Nigeria. Be safe out there.